For more, let's cross to Moscow and correspondent Felix Light. Felix, we know the president has voted, but he's done so from self-isolation.
Yes, he has, and in fact, it's very controversial indeed that he has. This election is marking, at least in Moscow and a few other regions, the trialling of what they call an electronic voting system. Now, of course, this is the norm in many countries, but this is, of course, a Russian election. It's not an election in any normal country. There are sort of endemic worries constantly about sort of fraud and falsification, largely on the part of the authorities and in the interests of the United Russia Party, the ruling party. And the problem is that when voting is conducted online, experts and sort of polling observers say that you cannot really have a sort of a vigilance of any meaningful nature over the vote. We can't accurately guarantee that sort of fraud is not being committed when a sort of very untransparent online system is being used. And what we've seen so far is really a sort of a report, endless reports today of perhaps not systemic violations, but certainly a number of violations. Things like state workers being compelled to cast ballots, people finding that they were registered for online voting when they had not registered. And all of this, I think, is feeding into a sort of a dilemma that this will, and a worry, I think, on the part of the Russian opposition, that this will not be a representative election with a representative result. United Russia, as we just heard, is very unpopular right now, and yet it does seem like the ruling party that has governed Russia for almost a quarter of a century now will be coursing to another sort of landslide win, another win by acclamation, essentially holding its 2/3 majority in the State Duma, which is very much the task that the Kremlin set for it going into these polls.
Yeah, well, Russia's a vast country, 11 time zones, so it's hard to draw too many conclusions from what you've seen personally, but what has it been like in Moscow this Friday?